class. This is our 7th meeting for English for Marketing. I'm so sorry for the previous video because the video might have the loud voice for the background music, but I will try my best to make the next video to make the lowest or maybe at least low music background, so at least you can listen to the explanation. I'm so sorry, and hopefully that you can enjoy, you can understand more for this video. So today we are going to learn about types of market, but before that, let's talk about market first. I hope that you still remember the definition of the market. The definition of market is the set of actual and potential buyers of a market offer. I know that I have ever told you that the definition of the market is the place of the buyer go to somewhere and then do the transaction, and then that's called market. Well, that is not wrong, but because of we are learning the market more specific, so the market actually, according to the business or marketing that we are learning right now, is the set of actual potential buyers of a market offer. And then at the previous video, I have already taught you that what meant actually by actual and potential buyers. Okay, so hopefully you still remember that. Now let's go to our main point, which is about types of market. So based on who the buyers are and the purpose of buying, markets are classified into consumer markets, government markets, business markets, and institutional markets. Anyone, probably you have ever heard some of these terms, or maybe you have never heard before, because maybe this term only used in the marketing. So special one, you might not find it in other terms. So let's discuss it one by one then. The first one is consumer markets. Look at this picture. It's clearly that they are holding the letters and then combine all become consumer. So in our opinion, consumer is just like someone who buys something to fulfill what they want, what they need, right? So the meaning, it is not far different from the way that we are going to talk about. Consumer is like the condition where the buyers are the end users, that they buy the things not for to sell again. So they really buy the things only to fulfill their needs. So they do not want to, or they are not going to sell again what they have bought. Well, in some cases, probably we might think that, let's say that you buy a bicycle. Because now is the trend who ride a bicycle, right? And then let's say that maybe next 2 or 3 years again, the bicycle will not become a trend again. You think to sell your bike. Because you think to sell your bike, so you might become not a consumer market again. Well, that is another case. And let's try to talk about this thing in another occasion. But for now, what we concern more is the things that you buy, whether it is goods or services, and then after you have got the things, after you have got the service, you keep it for yourself. Okay? Or at least whether you want to give it to somebody else, it's okay, but you do not sell it. That's why that you are called as the end users. So the consumer is the end users because they just buy the things for their own. So they are not going to sell again. So the buyers purchase the goods or services only for their own consumption, and they usually buy in small quantities. So let's ask yourself, among you, how many toothpaste, how many toothbrush are you going to buy? Are you going to buy for one full package or 1 dozen? Well, usually we just buy only one or two, maybe maximum three. Yeah, we are not going to buy until 1 dozen unless you think that you are going to sell it, or you are too lazy to go to the market, to go to the supermarket to buy the same thing again, so you are going to buy many just for the stock. Yeah, maybe. So consumer is not the same with manufacturer. Yeah, that's why that I put into equals, but it is cross, so it means that it does not equal, it is not the same. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next. The next is about business market. So business market is just like the manufacturer or the company or the factory that you have known before. Well, business market is quite different with the consumer market. If the consumer market, we think about the end users, which we buy the things and then we are not going to sell again because we are going to use it for our own. However, for business markets, it's quite different. If you see the definition over here, the business markets are the organizations that acquire goods and services used in the production of other products or services that are sold, rented, or supplied to others. So which means like this: if you are the business marketer, okay, you are going to buy the things or services, and then that is because that you are going to make another products by using the things that you have bought, because your main goal, your last goal, your objective is to sell again your things or your services. So you are not the end users, you still expect somebody else to buy your goods, to buy your services. And then the business market do not purchase for personal consumption. Yeah, I think that's clear, because as a business market, which means that you buy the things, it is not for your own consumption, but you are going to remake again, reshape again, or maybe you just are going to sell. You are not going to use the things for only for your own. That is called business markets. And then the business markets is, we can say that business markets equals to manufacture. The next, we are going to the government markets. I'm going to ask you, what can you think, or what comes into your mind for the first time when you heard about government markets? If I may say, I might have the same opinion with you. Government is one of the productive fields for the market, because sometimes they will buy in a very big amount or big quantity for our products. Okay, so let's see. A market where the consumers are federal, state, and local governments. Well, yeah, of course, when we talk about the government, it means that the consumer of our products, of course, they come from the federal, state, or local governments. The government will purchase or rent both goods and services from the private sector. Well, somehow, let's take example. So we are as the private sector. So we will provide goods, we will provide services for the government, and then the government, of course, will purchase us, will buy our goods, will buy our services. That is to conduct their duty as the government, to run well. And then the government will do the transaction with the smallest bit from the sellers, which is most common. What I mean is like this. So usually let's say that the government will make the announcement, or the government will try to find the goods, and then it will come out that some of the sellers will come to the government. Of course, they will try to sell their goods. However, usually the government will take the smallest bit, which is, like I said, it is most common. So if we are the sellers, we are able to sell our goods or our services with the smallest price. Usually the government will take it. However, in some conditions, the government will not see like that. Usually in our region, in our city, the government will tend to see whether the service is good, whether the goods is good, so they will just pay it how much the price is it. So maybe we can say that they just care about the quality. They do not care about the money or the price there. But if we can give the services good, if we can give the goods good with the lowest price, of course they will be so happier. Next, we have the institutional markets. Institutional markets, if you see that I put a picture over here like hospitals, okay, like schools or college. So you see that here it's written down that they provide goods and services to people in their care, and then they are characterized by their low budgets and captive client lists. So as it mentioned it before over here, the examples are like schools, hospitals, nursing homes, prisons, and other institutions that must provide goods and services to people in their care. So which means like this, these markets, we do not, somehow maybe we do not get any profit. We will try our best to provide the goods and services to people, and then we usually for these markets there is like tight budget or low budget with the fixed customers. The fixed customers is just like captive client list, which means that we will always have our customers, like or dislike, they will always come to our place. Of course, we will always try to maintain our quality by providing the full package of our services. Like the hospital will provide the full package of service. They will try to provide the very best food. Of course, the food is quite different with what we are eating at the restaurant. The food that it is providing at the hospital, they will have to find the best food that they can serve to the patients. And then the next is they also have the different sponsor and propose. Yeah, I think it's quite clear because each of these institutions, they will have different sponsor that will like to sponsor them. It is just like to support them, especially for the financial one, and then their purpose also. And then the next is they also have different division to serve certain needs of the customers. Let's take example for the hospital. The hospital will have so many divisions. For example, like for the bones, for the heart, for the common injuries, and so on. It is just like to serve our certain needs. If we feel our bones kind of like dislocation or something like that, of course when we see the hospital, when we go to hospital, the doctor or the officer over there will suggest us to meet the doctor who are in the charge of the bones. Of course, he will not charge us to go to the hard one. That's called division. So the division over there will provide us with the needs of the customers. Another example is just like the schools. If you see nowadays, the school has so many types of schools. There is national school with their national standard curriculum. There is also national school, but with different curriculum. They have the cooperation with some other schools abroad, overseas, so they can apply the different curriculum combined with the national curriculum. So, and then there are also schools that only provided to some handicapped children. So that is called also different divisions to serve the certain customers like the school students. So for those students who really who really enjoy to learn about English, not only for the national curriculum, they would like to learn English for more than usual, so they can go to the bilingual schools, which also have cooperated with some other schools, or maybe they have adapted with some curriculum which can be applied. And like the schools also for the handicapped children, of course their curriculum will be quite different. So that's all about the types of markets. So we have learned about the types of market from the consumer market, from the business market, from the government market, from the institutional markets. If you are still the users, and then you are not going to sell your markets, you are not going to sell your stuff, your goods, your service, which means that you are the consumer market. And then if you have started to buy something and then you are going to sell again, so you belong to the business market. Then if you are the member of the government, yeah, maybe local government or what, and then you start to buy something from the private sectors, or for to fulfill your needs, to conduct your duty so we can run well, so you belong to the government markets. And then if you belong to the institutional, just to provide goods and services for people who need your care, with tight or low budget, with the customers that will always come, whether they like it or not. So I can say that, or you can be said that you belong to institutional market. Again, so I think that's all for today. Hopefully you can get it for today's topic. See you for the next meeting, and goodbye.